Hi, and welcome to the Pamela C. Uten Teaching Kitchen here at the Cabarrus Cooperative Extension. I'm Suzanne Dode, and today we'll be presenting a recipe on a healthy whole wheat spaghetti with greens and beans that can be served either as a hearty side dish, or if you prefer to have a lighter dinner or lunch, it could definitely serve that purpose. Are you ready? Let's go. So our featured ingredient today is Swiss chard. If you're not familiar with this, it's a leafy green that can be grown pretty much near year-round here in Cabarrus County. When we used to grow it in our garden, we could grow it spring, summer, and fall as long as you've got a nice sheltered place. Like many leafy greens, it's high in fiber as well as a number of different vitamins and minerals, including vitamins A, C, and K, and the minerals potassium and iron. What I usually do is I will take 2 or 3 leaves at a time, and these are pre-washed. I washed this before getting started. They do grow in the dirt, and sometimes they do come with a little bit of sand, so you want to make sure that all of that is removed very well so that you don't get any grittiness when you are biting into the food. And I line them up, and I'm just going to chop off the ends of the greens here, the ends of the stems, and a lot of times those can be a little bit tougher. So what I will do is I will take and I will roll it up, and that makes cutting it a little bit easier. And I've got what we call a chef's knife, and you want to hold it with what's called a pinch grip. So I've got my thumb on one side and my index finger on the other side, holding onto the blade, and the rest of my fingers wrapped around the hilt. And I'm just going to put the tip of the knife down and just have a nice rocking motion. And you're going to use your other hand as a guiding hand to kind of push your greens through until you get to the end. You do want to keep the fingers on your non-cutting hand curled under so that we don't end up with any accidents. Now that we've got our Swiss chard all chopped up, what we're going to do is transfer it into a pot of boiling water. So once we bring the water back up to a boil, what we're looking for are larger bubbles. We're going to let it go for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to transfer the Swiss chard from the boiling water over into an ice bath to shock them, which stops the cooking process. And then after that, we will transfer them from here into a colander that I have fitted with a mixing bowl underneath to catch any extra water that's dripping off. So we'll let that continue to drain for a couple more minutes. We've heated this medium pan over medium heat with 2 tablespoons worth of olive oil. And a way to test whether or not your oil is hot enough to saute is to add 1 or 2 pieces to it. And if it's hot enough, it should start to sizzle. That means our oil is ready for us to go ahead and add all of our onions. So this is 1 large onion that I have diced up. So I'm just going to give it a couple of good stirs. And then once we've got the onions coated in the olive oil, I'm going to come over here and grab our spices. A lot of the compounds that are in spices are fat soluble, so adding them while you are sauteing vegetables does help to bring out more of their natural flavor or taste. Today what we have is some crushed red pepper flakes. Now the recipe calls for 2 teaspoons. I will say if heat is not your thing, I would not add quite that amount. What I've done is half a teaspoon today, and I'm going to add that to our onions while they're sauteing. And while they are doing that, I'm going to walk over to this pot which I have preheated for our pasta. Today we will be using a whole wheat thin spaghetti or capellini, which cooks up pretty quickly. I'm just going to add a little bit of salt to our pasta water, and then I'm going to drop our pasta down in, just like that. All right, we've got all the pasta below the water. We're going to let that go for a few minutes. Come back to our onions over here. If you can see them, they're getting a lot of nice color on them. We're going to let those continue going while we're adding the rest of our ingredients to our sauce. Starting with 1 cup of great white northern beans. Now you could either use canned beans. What I would suggest if you are using canned beans is to rinse them really well to remove any extra salt or sodium, or you can cook them from dry. I'm just going to add those right to our pot. And then next up, 1 cup of spaghetti sauce or marinara. into a liquid measuring cup. And I'm going to add this to our onion and bean mixture and allow it to come to temperature. And then we're gonna add our Swiss chard. And you just wanna be really careful when you add the Swiss chard. Again, if it's still kind of wet, it could splutter a little bit when you add it. And that is actually our timer for our spaghetti. Once I get most of the water out, I'm gonna transfer our noodles back to the pot that they were cooking in. I'm gonna use that fork that we were using while we were cooking and just give it a good stir and let that sit there. So checking back on our sauce, we're looking at it. It looks really, really good. Those greens have cooked down a whole lot. So I'd say this is just about ready to go. I'm just gonna scoop out some of our spaghetti and then spoon some of our sauce over the top. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that off and then serve it right up. Look at all that green goodness on the top. And there you have it. Whole wheat pasta with beans and greens. A complete nutritious meal in and of itself, or you can serve it as a hearty side dish. I would probably split the portion in half if you were serving it as a side dish. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you next time.